Excellent. Well, welcome. I'm glad I get to see everybody, even if you can't see me. This is Lee Perry in Evansville, Indiana. I want to formally welcome you to the Success Partners International Special Team Zoom this evening and congratulate you for showing up, because we know success begins with showing up. You know, when you're on a team Zoom with us, we always start our calls by sharing our signature message. And if you're
Well, Lee, you froze up again. Our signature message goes like this. I'm part of a growing team of entrepreneurs with a shared mission to protect and empower 2 million families and small businesses with Legal Shield's network of law firms and world-class identity theft services. What we do matters, and we are looking for help. We created that in 2014. Today, it still speaks to what this team's about. And since Lee, we lost Lee, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name's John Drennan. I'm in my 25th year now with this amazing company. And tonight we're doing our special team Zoom that we normally do on the first Sunday of every month following the communication show. But Monday's communication show was so meaningful, we felt like we couldn't wait till this coming Sunday. So I commend each of you who got the message and came on tonight. Of course, we are recording this, and I want to dive in to why we felt some urgency. You know, in 25 years, and Timur Halligen, who we heard do the briefing a little bit earlier, he's been here about 20 years. We've learned a lot. We see trends. We can kind of read between the lines and see the fine print. And I've seen a lot of ups and downs with this company. I've always referred to this business like the stock market, which we know goes up and down, but over time, it's always been up and to the right. And that's the case here. And we've had our up times and down times. And between COVID and leadership changes and stuff, we've had a little bit of rocky time the last couple of years, but that's over. We're running into a big time bull market now with this company. And I want to share, first of all, what our brand new CEO shared on the call. And I know many of you saw the Zoom on Monday, or you can go back to the recording, but I want to highlight this because first of all, he's our new CEO, and that's Warren Schlichting. And Warren is a very low key, hear people out, ask questions, listen, pay attention, and do what's right, do what's best kind of guy. But he initiated the call with three things, the Zoom again. Number one is just he recognizes the need to really build trust with the field. Now, I've been here 25 years. I've seen incredible trust. Yet that's a point of emphasis to continue to build trust between the field and the home office, the family at the home office in Oklahoma. Secondly, is to establish, build, and nurture relationships in the marketplace. And I learned from Timur Halligen that to say it this way, relationship first, transactions follow. And that is the way of business today. Without the relationship, you won't get a transaction. And that's something this company really wants all of us to nurture, is getting to know people, building relationships. And the third thing is just focus on the mission. There is no company in network marketing that has a mission that compares with this. There are a lot of great companies, a lot of great products, but the ability to give people peace of mind for a small subscription fee in two categories is just unheard of. So that's those three things I wanted to lead off with. And of course, all the information I just shared and others you'll hear tonight, you can get by going back and hearing the recording from the Monday communication show and pulling off the documents where they're relevant. And we encourage you to do that. So with that, let's move on. I want to go out to an associate that just had her best month ever, I believe, and has very clear sights set for this new year. And I just want you to hear from her. She's also going to share just a little bit from what we heard on the Monday Zoom. So with that, I want to go out to an amazing director within this team who's done so much in this business, Ms. Jane Lehman. Over to you.
Good evening, John. Thank you so much. Yes, I had an amazing month, and it all came from that consistent work that we do all the time. And suddenly it all came together. And the December for me was the best month I ever had. It also had to do with teamwork. It makes such a big difference. So I ended up with 429 points myself, and with team together 678, which means I missed the senior director position by 22 points. And you know, I've been here for 14 years. I would have cried several years ago if I'd been so close, but now I just laugh because I know it's coming, and it will come, and I see the direction. I loved hearing from Warren Schlichtling, our new CEO. I said that extra slowly for you, John. Warren Schlichtling. I love his vision. I love what this man stands for. He's down to earth. He thinks the way we do. And it'll be an incredibly exciting convention coming up for sure. But I'm looking forward this year. I have always been small biz and B2B, and group, I should say. And I'm focusing more now on helping new people come into the business and grow their own businesses. I see 2 of my team are on here right now, and I'm looking forward to watching them grow as well. So it's going to be an incredibly exciting year. I said it out loud, and I'll say it again. I will be executive director this year. That is my goal, and that's what I'm working towards. So back over to you.
And Jane, can you take a minute on the advancements? Or
Oh,
no?
goodness. All right, well, I could if I had the paperwork pulled up.
Okay,
I know
let
that
me go.
They relaxed the advancement. It's gotten a lot easier. I'll let you do that.
Yeah, I'll do that. And by the way, thank you, Schlichtling. How's that? Is that better?
Schlichtling, 2 L's.
Okay, I'm just calling him Warren, our new CEO. I really like the guy. So the changes that are important to know is once you hit that manager level, then the next step, senior manager, has gotten easier. It used to require 4 managers and 2,000 total premium. Well, now it's 3 managers and 1,500 total premium. So that's a 25% reduction across that board. And then going from senior manager to director, same thing. It used to take 4 associates and 4,000 premium. Now it takes 3 and 3,000 premium. So everything's basically cut there by 25%. Well, here's what that means. It's already a clear, pretty quick path going from being brand new as an associate to then senior associate and then manager. But now it's a cleaner, easier path to senior manager and then director. And for those who are already a director like Jane, that just means it's going to be easier to bump up to the higher levels, senior executive and senior director and executive director. So I just think they've streamlined the whole process. And quite honestly, for those who haven't yet achieved senior manager, it's now easier, faster. Okay, with that, I want to go out to the gentleman who did our briefing tonight. We do 2 a week, Monday and Wednesday evening. And he's working well into his 2nd million with this company on a part-time basis. You heard his story if you were on here earlier tonight. And I'm going out now to Mr. Timmer Halligen. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Drennan. Appreciate you. I was just sitting back and listening and taking notes, right? I've been with this company now for 19 years. I remember I started in June of 2004. And I took a look at the services, and the services made sense to me. Here's the deal. If you're on right now, you've said, hey, these services make sense to me, and I'm going to use them. So that's the number one thing I encourage everybody to do is use your membership. Because when you use your membership, it goes from your head down into your heart. And you start to tell people about it. You know, I was just sharing an experience last week. I had one of my other employees ran into their car. It was a, crazy situation, whatever. But I was referred to a body shop, and this person did the most amazing job on the body shop. They said when I brought the car in on Monday, they said, we'll have your car done by next Monday. Now, when they told me that, I laughed. I'm like, I've never had a body shop that gives me my car back on the exact day they said they're going to give it back to me, and at the exact price they said they were going to give it to me at. Well, that following Monday, they had the car done at the price that I said. So I told everybody about this body shop. I'm like, it's a great shop. Well, when you use your Legal Shield membership, you're going to tell people it's a great service, right? They're going to say, well, have you called them? You're going to say, yes, I called them about this situation, or I had a contract reviewed. Like just this last week, my daughter was in town. We had to get her living will done, her power of attorneys. I mean, you realize as a parent, if you got a child who's over the age of 18, you have no rights to what goes on if something happens, right? If they were to get into a situation where they were, injured. Think about that football player from Buffalo. He's got parents. If that guy doesn't have a living will in place, who makes those decisions for that young man who's 24? You don't think about those things. Well, Legal Shield, my daughter, we sat down. She got on the phone with the attorney. We sat there right there with her. She called him up. She goes, yeah, I need to speak to an attorney about this particular situation. I'm trying to find out. I want my mom to be my power of attorney. I want all this stuff. They walked her through it. When she was done, she was able to take care of her living will getting all done. See, that's the power of this membership. And so, when we talk about this business, when I started, with Legal Shield 20 years ago, 19 years ago, I literally want to make about $500 to $1,000 a month. I was like, if I make that, that's killer. If you made 12 grand extra next year, would that be awesome? Well, yeah, it'd be awesome. It's 12 grand as a 1099, which is probably about 15 grand as a regular employee. With now the things you can start to write off, that's a whole different discussion we can have. But this business is real. The money they pay is real, right? You get paid every time you tell somebody about these services. You get paid when somebody you bring into this business tells somebody about the services. So what do? Like, how did I make $1 million plus, right? John Drennan, who introduced myself, he's been my mentor. My first couple of years, I didn't plug in a whole lot. I really didn't. I just kind of did my own thing. And he called me one day and said, all right, how many people can you put into a room? And I said, about 20. And I got 19. He drove down from Michigan to where I was, and there was 19 people in that room. I was scared to death when he said, how many people you guys, this guy was going to drive down. And so that's the way we used to build this business a long time ago, is we'd get a whole bunch of people in a room somewhere. There was no Zoom back then. There was no videos to send people. If I wanted to get people in front of information back then, I literally mailed you a VHS cassette. And when I mailed you a VHS cassette, we could then talk 5 days later, right? After you got it. And then I had to get you to send it back to me. If not, that cost me like probably $8, right? Because you're holding on to my VHS tape. Well, how do you build this business today? Well, the process is the same. The access is so much easier, right? The process is the same. If I can send out 1,000 VHS tapes, I do a lot better than somebody who sent out 2 VHS tapes. If I could get 1,000 people to watch a video, I'm doing better than somebody gets 2 people. If I got 10 people that watch a presentation, I'm doing better than if 1 person watches the presentation. So the number one key is you use the services, and now you tell people about the services. You get them to see the services. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Whether you're brand new in this business, right? Like you just started last week, or you've been with this company for 20 years, 22 years, 23 years. I've got friends who've been with this company 28 years. Everyone's going to do the exact same thing. And that's what makes this business so incredible, is that it's duplicatable, right? There's a reason why McDonald's makes a lot more money than Burger King, even though I like Burger King's burger better. I like Burger King's burger and McDonald's fries. If I can get those 2 together, we got the killer franchise, right? But you just can't, it just doesn't work that way. But McDonald's has got this duplicatable system. With us, it's the exact same thing. You're going to create a list. Here's what I'm going to tell you to do. If you want to really excel in this business, and beat me and jump out of the waters and do whatever you want to do. Mr. Drennan's on his 3rd million. He's 6 figures a year residually. We got another gentleman on here tonight who's 6 figures a year with our company. Dozens and dozens on tonight that make residual income, every single month. We know what we do works. So what do you got to do? You got to create a list. So go to our team website, begintheascent.com. BEGINTHEASCENT.com, begintheascent.com. Go to the getting started page. When you go there, it's going to tell you how to get started. You're going to see a video from Mr. John Drennan, who's, talks about how to make a list. You're going to write down every person that you know. I don't care if you think they would like these services or not like these services. You're going to have them write them down. Number two, you're then going to go ahead and you're going to invite them to look at some information. We've got on this team every Monday and Wednesday night, we've got 2 Zooms, one that I do on Wednesday nights, Mr. Drennan does on Monday nights, and the company also has a myriad of different ones that you can go to as well. And so every night of the week, there's a Zoom that you can invite people to. There's an app that you can download that will allow people to see videos that you send them, right? I'm giving you the overview here. Get back to your, go to our team website, go to the Getting Started page, take a look at it. Then once you invite them to this information, we're going to direct them back to your website, and they have an opportunity to take a look at it. Here's what I can tell you is that 60% of people will buy Legal Shield. You just got to follow up with them. Right? There's gonna be some people that, like yourself, maybe, and me, 15 to 20% that said, I'm buying this service right now. You said free will, I'm in, sign me up. Well, that was me. And then I got a ticket a few weeks later. I'm like, keep me. And since then I've used the service so many different times. My daughter's got tickets. I told you about this last weekend we had. So I'm Legal Shield for life. So why not make a couple extra bucks along the way? If you can make $1 million, great. If you can make 20,000, great. If you can make 15,000, great, whatever it is. And so now you know that you've got to create your list. There's a video on there about that. Inviting, there's a video on there on how to master the invitation process, right? It's going to tell you, how do you invite people to look? Then you're going to get people on a 3-way call. You're going to get them to speak with somebody who's been around a little longer than you. Why? Because that just makes sense. You don't know all the information yet. The company's been around for 50 years. Now, right now is the absolute best time. I don't care if you just started with Legal Shield or you've been in Legal Shield for 20 years. If you want to grow your business right now, recreate your list, create your list. Right now, reach out to every person that you know and say this: hey, how are you? I was just thinking about you. Happy New Year. Or, hey, Happy New Year. Hope all is going well. Happy New Year. How are things? People are going to say, they're great. Long time. We haven't talked in a while. And then they're going to say to you, well, what's happening? You're going to say, well, I got this going on in life, this going on in life. And I'm really excited about this company I'm working with. It's a company called Legal Shield. Have you heard about them? No, I haven't. Well, gosh, I'd love to send you some information and you could take a look. But anyway, back to what it is that about you and how's life. It's just part of your conversation with people. There's a few times in every year that you can talk to people regularly. New Year's is one of them. Reach out to people. What are you doing right now? And I can't think of a better person to talk about bringing people into this business than a gentleman I've known for 19 years, right? He is a successful business owner out in Colorado. He runs one of the fastest growing real estate franchises that's out there. He's earned well, he's over 6 figures a year he's earned with Legal Shield at some point in his career. He was the #1 team builder, #1 in team building over the last 2 months, November and December in our entire company. And I've asked him to come on tonight because he's part of our organization to just share a little bit about, where he sees our company right now. And, how do you get so many people to take a look at this company? I'm going out to Colorado to Mr. Tom Glanville. Tom, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me all right?
I do, man. Thanks for joining us. I know you were out to dinner with your family. Tonight was your son's 18th birthday. So happy birthday to him. But just wanted to, turn the mic over to you for about 4 or 5 minutes and just, share a little bit about, the power of this membership and, what's got you so excited 20 years as a member of these services. To getting people involved with what it is we do. So I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Glanville.
You bet. Thank you there, Mr. Halligen. Really appreciate that. Sorry about I'm calling from the backseat of a car right now, so I'm just going to send it this way. But one of the things that I really want to point out in regards to successful recruiting, you have to understand and utilize the membership. You have to utilize it. And I know you just talked about that, but I can't talk about that enough. Like you said, I've had the service since 1998. I can't even try to calculate how much money I've saved or what it saved me in roundabout ways. I mean, it's got to be six figures. There's no way that it's not, over the course of time. And one thing about the membership, like, here's a couple good things that to really think about as you're utilizing your own services, right? Like, get a will, at least get a will, update your will, do something like that. Call on something that happened a year or two ago. Just find out what your rights may be. Maybe you'll find out you're within the statute of limitations, and you might have a really, really good answer. As a matter of fact, and I'll just share a quick membership story. One of the new people that just came on board at our agency, we own a real estate company, and he came on about 2.5 months ago, and I never knew why he wanted to get his real estate license. He was sort of quiet about it. And what I eventually found out is he was terminated from a job up here in northern Colorado. And when he got to service, like, I'm like, use a membership, use a membership, use a membership, right? That kind of thing. So he calls, come to find out he was wrongfully terminated. He got a check for $15,000 from the employer for wrongful termination. And that happened like a month after I talked to him. I'm like, please, we need these stories, right? Like, that's what matters. That's what the whole company's about. One of the things, and we're going to do a big training here in Colorado, February 11th. One of the things that I'm really converting our training to is mission, not commission. Don't worry about the money. Worry about the mission. The mission's going to make it all come together once people start utilizing it and get the results and whatever it may be. And, maybe you have seen the video recording that I did for corporate the other day. And one of the things I talk about is you got to remember, this service is not a silver bullet, right? Sometimes you're going to call and you're not going to get the answer you want to hear. And it's just the way that it is. But a large majority of the time, it's going to work out really, really good in favor of that member. And the reason I'm harping on this so much is the more stories you have, the better off you're going to be. Just like that story that I just told about that wrongful termination. That doesn't mean if somebody was wrongfully terminated or they think they were wrongfully terminated, that they're going to call into Legal Shield and they're going to have a $15,000 check. It does not mean that. But what it means is there's hope. And as soon as there's hope, as long as there's a possibility for it, why not, right? So what I talk about, again, use a membership, use a membership, use a membership. As you're out there, like, for instance, we all know you have unlimited consultation with an attorney firm, right? We all know that's one of the very first benefits that the service that service is associated with. So with that benefit, if you just went around and said you could call an attorney unlimited for anything that you want, people don't call now. Why? Because at roughly $400 an hour, they're not used to that. They only call when there's a major if that makes sense, or a major problem, right? Like a DUI or a nasty divorce or whatever it may be. They don't use it for the smaller things like being stranded by airlines. Matter of fact, we had one of the people I know that was doing some online training ordered bluing glasses for their training. They never showed up. And I'm like, yeah, Legal Shield, why don't you call the attorney firm just to see, right? What's the harm? And he ends up calling. The attorney firm gets a hold of whatever company it was out of Texas. The company in Texas overnights his bluing glasses and refunds his $20. Now, guys, I don't know about you, but $20 is $20. Think about how many I'm 53 years old. Think of how many times I've lost $20 in my life for situations like that. If you add that up, that's big. That could pay for the membership in itself. So again, use a membership because facts tell, stories sell. The more stories you have, the better off you are. The key is, though, it's not specifically what you say, it's how you say it. So don't give somebody false hope. Don't say, hey, again, going back to the wrongful termination thing, that, hey, you call, this other guy got a $15,000 check, you can too. No, that does not mean that. Hey, here's what happened with this guy. Maybe in your situation, it's different. Maybe the state you're in has different state laws on it, right? But at least you're going to have an expert that's going to hop up to the plate for you, swing the bat, and every time they do, they're going to try to hit a home run. Sometimes it doesn't work, but the majority of the times it does. So just keep that in mind. That's the first and biggest part about recruiting, is understanding the membership. Because again, once it's about the mission, not the commission, now is when you're going to start getting results, because the rest of it's just a shoe-in at that point. Because if you think about it, when they start thinking, just like when you came on board and you saw the value in the membership, whether you use it or not yet, right? you started thinking of, man, my cousin can use this, right? My good friend, my buddy the other night did something stupid at a bar, whatever it might be, right? You start thinking of people. And then that's where the recruiting side comes in, because as soon as you start thinking of people, why not monetize that? Right? You go around, you give referrals. I mean, in the real estate industry, we give referrals all the time for people, handy people or roofers or whatever. And there's not really money attached with that. Wouldn't it be cool just to sort of do the same thing and now monetize it? I mean, everybody's, especially after COVID, everybody's trying to monetize everything they can because of, inflation and the jobs and everything like that, right? We need multiple income streams. So you're at a really good time across the board. And if you utilize a membership and you just take those stories and you just are casual about it, not like I know we hear this, it's just not my style. I'm not the guy that's going to sit at a restaurant and say, do you keep your income options open? To me, it just doesn't work for me. So it's more of a get into a casual conversation, find out what they do, find out where their pain points are, if you will, in life, right? Like maybe they're not making enough. Maybe, one of the things we joke about real estate, guys, feel free to use all these real estate things because all of you either rent or own a house or live with your parents, right? There's something going on like that. So one of the things that we were just recently sort of joking and talking about, and it's actually starting to turn into a little bit of value in regards to memberships for sure. And that is, like here in Colorado, you go to rent, you have to show 3 times the amount of whatever that rental is. Average rental where we are is $2,500 a month. So you need $7,500 a month coming into that household to prove rent. So that's why you see a lot of roommates in the household out here. And as Valentine's Day gets closer, right, we go into all the stores here, Valentine's already on the shelves. So one of the things is how well or how good can your romance life be if you got roommates bebopping around your house all the time, right? So when you start talking things like that, and a lot of times people don't, again, I'm really sort of referring to real estate here, but a lot of times people don't purchase a house. It's not because they can't. It's because something's typically wrong with credit, a previous marriage or child support. It's typically wrapped around legal. And then there you go, right? What's that feed itself into? Hey, check it, like Timmer just said. Hey, check out this video. If it makes sense, let's talk. If it doesn't, no worries, right? That kind of thing. And a large majority of the time, people get all schooled about it and want to purchase a membership. They do it, and when the timing's right, either right there or after they use it or however pressing their situation is, that's when you can go after the recruiting side, right? And once you start building that, you're going to have an unlimited supply of people that you can bring on your team, unlimited supply of referrals, unlimited supply of recruits and membership sales and all these kind of things. So I don't want to go on too much longer there, Timmer, until we actually have you guys can't tell I'm bouncing around in the backseat of a car right now. But yeah, I just wanted to share that real quick because it's been working. That's what's driven the from what I understand, Tim, I just heard too that I was the number one recruiter in the whole company for 2022. I think they're going to solidify that number. I don't know how true that is yet, but I'm hearing rumor about that right now. And guys, what I'm telling you, that's what we do right there. Nothing more, nothing less, just keeping it real and boom, boom, boom. And not being weird about it, not being that weird guy that shows up to like the family dinner. Who wants to buy a legal plan or something like that, right? Just
Yeah,
doesn't work.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Tom. Thanks for taking time out. I know you're coming home for your son's birthday, and everything you said makes sense, right, folks? We've got an incredible service, and we just got to get people in front of the information. If we get them in front of the information, they can make an educated decision. That's really all that we're looking to do. And so, as Tom said, I encourage you to get yourself, use your membership, consistently use your membership, and the membership's what leads to other associates. So now I'm going to take this call, this Zoom, and turn it back over to this good friend of mine. Literally, I mean, I can't believe how much I can talk forever and ever and ever about how he changed my life many, many years ago, as he has so many people on here. Let's go out to Mr. John Drennan. John, the call is yours now.
Thanks so much, Timmer. And likewise, you've changed my life. It's been a great friendship for 20 years. And kudos to Tom. I know Jane Lehman put in the chat that Tom was featured Monday in the communication show as the top recruiter for November. And sounds like maybe we'll end up the top recruiter in the company this year, working this obviously part-time and part of Success Partners International. Kudos, Tom. And I'm laughing the whole time you're in the back seat of that car. I cannot tell you how many times I've done calls and things from cars and phone booths and getting off turnpikes to go to a phone booth. Some of you remember what a phone booth is, right? And putting coins in or paying that long distance for 30 minutes in 20-degree weather when I wasn't dressed for it. I mean, that's just, I'm laughing because that's how you build the business. You just kind of do what it takes. And also it's his son's birthday, but he carved out time. So thank you for that. And I just think the nugget there was the value of the stories, the value of the membership. I still tell my first membership story from 25 years ago today. And so he's so spot on. When you've got the stories and it's about the mission more than the commissions are going to come. So I want to move on to just a couple more things. If you haven't heard, it's now $49 to become an associate. You know, that's half of what it was. Next is, if you're not registered for convention, go to shieldassociate.com/convention. I'm going to ask someone put that in the chat. It's shieldassociate.com/convention. That'll give you the place to register for the event, or if you're already registered, where you can sign in. Bear with me, I think we got someone unmuted. Okay, and then last thing I want to bring up is, I think y'all heard that there are teams being developed to qualify for next year's trip to, or this year's trip now to Puerto Vallarta. And these are teams of 6. To be part of a team, you join with a director. So directors and above can create teams by going out and having 5 people in their organization join their team. Then it's a contest, if you will, where those teams can, all 5 or all 6 people, earn a way to this trip. Now, a little bit about the trip. Everything's paid for. I've been on many of these trips. They're typically $5,000 to $9,000 per trip per person, because it's not one person, it's 2. So that's 2 people. But these trips are world class and everything is paid for except the drive to the airport and the drive home when you get back. And you can qualify by being part of a team, and your team being one of the top 10. That means they're sending 60 people from these top 10 teams. And if you were not a top 10 team, then they're going to take the next 3 highest point teams and put them in a raffle if there's more than 3 and draw those out. So that's 18 more people. Then finally, if you're an associate and you're not yet on a team or haven't been asked, the cutoff is tomorrow at 5. If you don't get asked to be on a team, you can actually email Legal Shield and they will put you on a team. And I wanted to share this because in my 25 years, I've never seen the company work so hard to help people qualify for a world-class trip by saying, hey, if you're not chosen on a team, we'll put you on one. You might be part of a team with 5 other people who are on 5 different teams, and you end up winning and all going. And I know we'll have stories like that. So I wanted to share that. And then once again, go back, watch the recording. If you missed it from Monday, or if you didn't get everything, just watch it again. Also go to your LS Engage and just pull off the documents on the trip I just talked about, on the changes to the advancements and everything else that's new. So with that, we're going to go ahead and close out. Actually, no, I want to share a couple more things, because a lot of people walk away from a Zoom like this and ask, okay, what do I do? I mean, I kind of know the changes. I'm excited. I know the timing's good. I love the service. What do I do? And number one, my question back would be, well, what do you want? What do you want? And why do you want it? And it starts there, having a very compelling reason to do the business. And from that, make a decision. As you heard Jane Lehman, and I've known Jane for 14 years, and she hasn't really focused on team building. And, you know, a lot of people in 14 years have done way more than Jane. A lot in 14 quit 13 years ago. So everybody's on their same own journey, and Jane's on the journey this year, and she'll achieve being an executive director. And why do I know that? Number one, she's made the decision, so she's committed. Number two, she's got a plan. So that's the next part. Number three, I encourage you to have a workout partner. We all know the value of that, whether it's in sports or business. Have that other person you can connect with daily, so you're both marching forward with what it is you've committed to. And then just do no matter what. I just know that, you know, I know the Millionaire Club members and the 6 and 7 figure income earners, and we've done it no matter what. As I said earlier, you know, getting off the freeway to be in a phone booth freezing cold to make sure I was part of a call. It's just these little things done over and over and over and over and over, and time eventually rewards you for that in how this business is designed. So that's my recommendation. So, hey, with that, we like to end our videos with, or our Zooms rather, with a video. And there's one here I chose because I just think the lyrics are great. I think the energy is great. And I think this is a wonderful Zoom to finish with some great energy. So bear with me because I wasn't ready to share that. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. He washed my sins away. Oh, happy day. Yeah. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. When my Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. He washed my sins away. Oh, happy day. Yeah. Oh, happy day. He taught me. He taught me how. Yeah. Day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Yeah, when Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. When my Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. He washed my sins away. Oh, happy day. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah, go. He taught
All right, everyone, we'll go out and have a happy day. That was not the full video. You might have noticed it goes on longer, but just thought